My channel. I'm talking to the mic. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Zero1. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to build an auto sorter system and maybe even a little more complicated one. I have been interested in these since I learned about them about a year ago while watching DrGluon play with Minecraft with James Turner, his friend. And I was very curious about how to make one, but I never started investigating how to do it until yesterday when I finally decided to get off my butt and try to learn how to make one. After I saw Button, another Minecraft player, hardcore player, working on a auto sorter system in his hardcore world. And so I decided, you know what? I want one. It's about time I get one. So I decided to look at a few videos and see how it's done. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to do that today with you. And I'm going to go into very painful level of detail and tell you everything that I know about it and everything that I kind of want to try. And I'm going to do some experiments here, some things I hadn't done before. There are things here in this that I've never done before, so I'm going to do some experiments, and so we'll see how it goes. And hopefully by the time this is all over, you'll be able to pull it all together yourself and teach other people, if you want, how to build a auto sorter system. So with that, let's go ahead and switch on over. And let me make sure sound is on. All right. So I've already learned a few things. This is not my first attempt at this video today. I stopped earlier because I was having some issues both in-game as well as real world. This has not been the world's greatest day for me, but that's okay. Originally, what I wanted to do is teach you how to build a dispenser, or actually a dropper, to get the items that you're going to put into a chest into a water stream that flows up to your auto sorter and actually provides you with a lot of simplicity in terms of how you actually use your auto sorter once it's completed or largely built. What I wanted to do is use glass blocks like these to actually build it out, but I learned during my first attempt at this video that apparently glass does not conduct the redstone signals properly, and so we're not going to use glass for it. Instead, we're going to go ahead and use obsidian. By the way, I'm in creative mode because, well, creative mode will make this a lot simpler on me. So what we're going to do is lay out these blocks more or less like this. It's not elegant, but it's efficient. And I'm also going to put a couple blocks up here so I can maneuver and get things done. All right, first we're going to take a dropper and stick it there. It's not anything special. It's a ordinary block, really. So it's there. And what it does is actually spit out the item that you're going to be imbuing or putting in the chest into the water stream. Apparently there's another similar item called a dispenser, which will shoot it out at a much higher speed, but we don't really need that. We just need it to get it into the water stream, and it's going to be under a couple of different things here. I got the idea for this particular design for the dropper from, I believe, his YouTuber named Animus, I believe it is. I'll include the link to his video on how to do this at the end of this. But basically, his idea was that this method, would be a lot faster than the standard hopper-based design, or dropper-based design for this. And I am in creative mode, and I have almost everything I need for this, and I'm just kind of going on and building it. But if you have any questions, anything that you don't understand that I might, feel free to ask, and I'll explain in comments to the best of my ability. So basically what we have here is a double chest that feeds the two hoppers, and one hopper goes directly into the dropper. The other one goes into another hopper that feeds it from the other side, from the side there. And that in theory, should double the speed that it actually pulls items out. And we need a comparator sitting right there like that. And we also need redstone dust there, and a few redstone torches. Let me set it back to daylight. And once this is done, and we actually want to put that there and there. All right. So, just to test this, I'm going to drop these kelp in here. And as you can see, it's spitting them out. I really wish this would have worked with glass, because it would have made it a little more clear. Nonetheless, what we can do is go ahead and build up around this with glass. Alright, this is going to be the start of our water stream here. I'm only going to do it out a few blocks for the moment. We put a glass block in front of it, more or less to help guarantee that the items will go down as opposed and into the water as opposed to being shot out all over the place, but that's not working here for me. It's actually kind of shooting them all over the place. Try this. Like I said, this is a bit of an experiment. I only learned how to build an auto sorter yesterday, and this dispenser yesterday as well. So, not everything's going to plan, and not everything will go to plan, but the idea is the important thing. Alright, let's try that again. Yeah, that's much better. And so, basically, the water will progress on along to a point where it, in our case, will get to an elevator that'll take it up to our actual auto sorter. And so, this is good. I'm actually pleased that it's working this well. My own one isn't quite working this well, but it was a quick and dirty sort of thing. I just threw it together. But as long as we're talking about getting things where we want them to be, which is to say our auto sorter. Yeah, that's beautiful. Now I'm just going to break that, collect these back up, because I'm going to use this kelp as a demonstrator to demonstrate another thing, and to demonstrate the functionality here. Alright, seal that back up for the moment. Alright, one of the other things I learned yesterday was I thought that I knew how to make a water elevator. I was partially right, partially wrong. Let's go ahead and move these back into my inventory. I don't need that right now. I don't need that right now. I need the soul sand. Alright. I thought I knew what to do. I thought it was simply you make a nice little space, Put some soul sand down at the bottom. Then you get a nice water stream going down. And I thought that would be it. That was simply how you did it. You would shoot up, because I saw Doc and James doing it. I saw Button do it. But it turns out I was not right. What they did is actually take some kelp and stabilize the water, make each one of these blocks of water into its own water source. And so, basically, it stabilized the water, making each one of those blocks its own separate water source. And that's great if you have a source of kelp. I did not have a source of kelp anywhere near my little base. So what I had to do was a little something different that I figured out as I was working on it. Basically, if you take water and put it at each level, you automatically get that same effect. And so you have to fill up this whole water column with buckets of water. Oops. And then you have what you need. And basically what this will do is the water will actively force you to the top, or in this case, any items to the top, which is what we want in its auto sorter, at least to elevate. And so what we'll do here is build this out a little more. And there's another couple of things we're going to need to discuss as well. Things that I learned as well yesterday while trying to figure out an auto sorter system. One was, surprise, the water will come from both directions here. And so we don't need that. It's going to push against each other because, hey, that water source is fighting against that water source. So we need water to flow in one direction, and the simple way to do that is actually using a slab. And we're going to put this slab right here. That forces the water in there to stay there, and yet water comes out from over there just fine. But as you can see, the water is not reaching all the way over here. So what we're going to need to do is figure out a way to make sure that the items slide all the way. But first, let's go ahead and test this, because, you know, I hadn't actually tested this myself, to see how far the items will slide once they come out of the dispenser and out of the water. Almost far enough. Almost. So what a lot of people do, since I'm in this mode, I can actually kind of cheat this. I didn't do this in my own world yesterday. Is get some packed ice. And I may as well get a bunch of it. We put a block or two of packed ice in there. And now what we should see is the kelp go flying in there. Well, it almost made it. Looks like we might need another block of ice there. But you can see what's happening here. The water is flowing out of the drop, or rather, the items are flying out of the dropper, hitting the water, and coming all the way over here. We could also just use some additional water right here, maybe a sign or another slab there to actually keep it from just accumulating like that. But here, we're just going to go ahead and cheat it. Because I know slabs will work in every situation, and ice should work as well. See? And ultimately, in our tower that we're going to build to lead to our actual auto sorter hoppers, this is a good thing. We need water to do most of the work in transporting items from one location to another. And ideally, most of this, if not all of it, will be underground, or at least this infrastructure. But this system, using these blocks, can be extended as far and as long as you need it to go in order to actually reach your auto sorter or to get everything around the auto sorter. The auto sorter itself, there are two different ideas about how to build it, though they're very similar. We'll go to that now, or work on that now. And we may as well work nearby. Let me clear out a little bit of space here. Both methods are very similar, so I highly recommend them. Although one has a distinct advantage in the long term. Alright. And let me fill in the spots. Not that I really need to do this, but I'm going to anyway. Alright. First, you start off essentially with a T shape. And let me move my tools around a bit. You're going to need a redstone comparator and repeater. Don't think glass is going to work too well for me. Need redstone. Need the redstone torches. And of course you need hoppers and chests. On the front side, you're going to put a torch. On the back side, you put a repeater. And then you put another block. Let me grab that obsidian again. I forgot I need that. I'm also going to stack up some obsidian over here. More for convenience sake than anything else. Because, again, we're going to have to use that shift key in order to target things and make things work. We're going to put a comparator right here on the edge. And on the top, cover it with redstone. From there, we put a hopper targeting the comparator right there. Now, I'm also going to come over here a few spaces, and put a couple blocks here, because we're going to need more hoppers, all pointing to the right here, well, to that side. And these days seem to be going so quick. We need these hoppers to point to one another, just like this. Hey, phantoms, cool. Too bad they can't get me. Because creative mode rules. We have to hold the shift key, otherwise we get the inventory for the item, for the hopper. So, what these do is when the item gets dropped, when we have a proper filter set in this particular lane of hoppers, we're going to set up filters. And if the item that's coming to this top hopper matches the item, then it'll drop down into another hopper that'll be here, and that in turn will put it into a chest. That ultimately is part of the sorting. If it doesn't match it, then it goes on to the next hopper here and repeats the process. And it goes on and on down the line for each item that we are putting in our filters in this row of hoppers that'll be underneath this. If it reaches the end, then we can either turn a corner, for instance, or keep going until we have the correct item that matches, or we can have it dump into a default box or a junk box. In my case, I'm going to go ahead and put a junk box right here, because while I'm doing this, I don't want to do this all day. I don't have enough time in the world to actually to build out a complete auto hopper system for every element in the game, or every item in the game. Alright, so just as an example, let's go ahead and talk about the filters here which really distinguish the two auto sorters systems that I have found or looked up. One uses just ordinary blocks. Any block will do, and you fill these 4 spaces with them, such as that. You use the right mouse button to actually put those in place. And then you, for instance, put the item that you're filtering against, the item that you want to collect in this particular lane, in that first spot. The problem with that is that inevitably you'll end up dropping items in your auto sorter that actually match these particular items. So what will happen at that point is that you'll start getting more than one in these locations, and it starts dropping everything into your storage box, which is not what we want. What you really need to do to avoid that is actually create filter items. For that, we need an anvil. I should have already had one, but I did not, because I'm not very smart. And so we'll grab one. Let me put that there. And it can be any particular item, but this is going to cost you it's going to cost you your an experience level or so. You take it, put a stack in there, and you rename it to just about anything. It's easiest to just rename it to filter so you know what it is. And then you take it out. It's going to cost you an experience point level. Then you come back, and again, using the right mouse button, you fill in those particular 4 spots. Then you put 41. I've actually seen one of the 2 auto sorter systems say you only need 20 items, but more consistently than not, I've seen 41 need to be in there. So I'm doing this kind of backwards. Put 41 items of the lapis lazuli in there. And then what we do, now that we have this light lit up, just to test it real quick, and let me go ahead and put the lapis boxes here. And again, you get a hopper that's pointing to the chest there, because that chest is where we're going to send it. We go ahead and toss the lapis in, and it does its sorting. As you notice, this is alternating between 41 and 42, and then it actually puts those items into the chest. Now, if we put something else in that particular box, or hopper, say the redstone, it'll just proceed down the line all the way down to this particular chest. And actually, we got some of the lapis there too, so we'll have to double check things. Yeah, everything looks good. Ah! Didn't mean to do that. Fortunately, there's nothing particularly special about that hopper. except that it's pointing down the line. Alright, so we should have more lapis in here, 17 now. But I think we still might have some down here. Yeah, we do. Not entirely sure why that's the case. But what we're going to go ahead and do is replicate this on down for a few other items. And the interesting thing is, because this is Minecraft, we don't actually have to have that box supported by anything. And you can actually increase capacity by putting another box there and putting a hopper to feed it. So you can do this infinitely, basically. And so anytime one of these boxes fills up, it'll go down to the next layer and start filling that box up and continue on until you run out of space. But for the moment, let's just go ahead and replicate all of this. Move the lapis out of my way because I don't need it right now. The direction of the chests don't really matter too much because you're going to be opening them from the side anyway. And what you'll probably want to do as well is put an item frame on the front of each one of these so that you know exactly what's inside. The only problem with auto sorters in general that I've noticed is that they are resource intensive. So if you're doing this in hardcore mode or purely survival mode and not bouncing back and forth to creative, you're going to be doing an awful lot of mining. I'm not going to call that a cheat, but it's definitely something that's resource intensive, and it's going to be a pain if you want to do it legit. I learned that yesterday, almost the hard way. Alright, I think I'll only go that far so I can get out. Now, I don't know exactly how the repeaters or the comparators work. To be honest, I'm Minecraft stupid. I've been playing for a lot of years, but I really have never really got past digging. That's my thing. I don't build usually. I'm not much of a builder when I do build, and so I don't know how a lot of this works. But it's really not that hard, at least in terms of using it, once you've learned how to do it. Now we just fill in all of the redstone here. And we'll go up on the other side. This is, yeah, really so much easier in creative mode than it is in survival mode, excuse me. And I can't imagine I would even attempt this in hardcore, although watching button made it look easy. Alright, so again, we go in, we put our filter item in using the right mouse button. And this one will make diamonds. You'll see it count down to 41 as it fills the chest. But a secret is that it's actually keeping one, or at least in my experiments, it has always kept one in the hopper there, rather than moving it anywhere else. I don't know why that was the case, but it's something I did notice. And this one will be cheeky and make glass. Make this one copper. This one will make kelp. This one will make ice blocks. Packed ice. This one gold. And finally, this one will be iron. And so, you should be able to come down here and see, well, pretty much everything at some point being filtered into these boxes. So yeah, there's the iron, there's the gold, packed ice, the kelp, copper, glass, diamonds, and my lapis isn't there. That's because I'm holding the lapis. I'm an idiot. Alright, so let's go ahead and toss the lapis in there, and we'll also toss that rotten flesh in there, and these slabs. And so we see the lapis, it just completed, and the other slab, the flesh and slabs, are all populating down here. Don't know why the lapis is coming down here. It's being difficult. It's embarrassing me. Nonetheless, the auto sorter is generally working. And the next step is to connect the two. So, what we need to do is actually go over a little bit still, because I didn't align these perfectly. So, we'll bring our glass back out. And we'll bring up our water buckets as well. That should be the center there. All right. Okay, we'll put another block of water there. Try not to get washed away. I didn't need to do that. Really, I didn't. So, I failed at not getting washed away, but I'll temporarily block the flow of water, just so we can see what we're doing. Basically, we just need to bring that water and its flow of items on over to the hopper here. As far as I know, you only need to go to the first hopper. That's what I did my build yesterday. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt to actually flow it all the way around, past all of your other hoppers as well. That might accelerate the whole sorting process. I have no idea. Again, we're not quite enough distance there. So we put that water in there. And I don't have my slabs on me, so we come back down here and grab the slabs. Just to make sure that the water continues to go in one direction and one direction only. And to be just a little pedantic, why don't we grab that packed ice? There. We'll grab one of those. Alright, we'll grab it all. And right in this spot, we'll put packed ice so that the item comes out of the water, hits the ice, and goes straight into the other water flow. And we should be ready to actually test this. So, let's try this with the redstone. What we should have is it ending up at that very last box. And so we're hitting the auto sorter, and we're coming down here to the very last box. I want to see what happens with this. So we see the lapis and the redstone both hitting. Okay, good, good, good. 20 lapis there, one up here. Make sure that it's not anywhere it's not supposed to be. Still one lapis in the wrong spot. But all of the redstone ended up here, which is what ultimately we want. We want this to actually sort properly. Now, I was a little curious today. I was wondering if there might be a way to further improve this auto sorter, to actually take advantage of the fact that we have all of this iron in raw form, and maybe melt it and smelt it into iron bars. So what I'm going to do is something else I looked up. I will also include a link to this. And basically what it is an auto smelter. And so what it's going to do, if I build this correctly, and I'm not sure that I will, is basically take anything from certain places, certain hoppers, and put it into an automatic forging sort of system. And I'm thinking I'll have it go around again and sort. So what I'm going to do is actually extend out our system here a little bit once I get everything set. What it needs is powered rail, a minecart with a hopper. The one I saw had levers. I'm not sure if levers are absolutely necessary, so I'm going to try to do it without it. And this is going to complicate things greatly, so bear with me as I don't necessarily get this right. First, I guess I want to do is actually try to get the auto sorter system, or excuse me, automatic system smelter working in general. So I need furnaces as well. Huh. Interesting. And what else do I need? I could use some coal as well. Just take a stack of that. Alright, I'll extend that out later. For the moment, let's concentrate on this. Alright, what I saw in this person's creation was essentially this. You know, if I stop destroying things. Oops, wrong spot. And we repeat the same thing up top. Oops. Did not mean to do that. I've never really worked with mine cars either, so, or especially not the rails. So this is new to me too. I believe it also had blocks here at the end, more or less to keep the rail cars from going off the tracks. I wonder if there's a way to get this without using... get this to work without using levers. Well, let's try it with the levers first. I know he used 3 levers. Not that I'm going to get the placement of these right. Where are those over there? Be there. I'm guessing at some of this because I didn't exactly pay a huge amount of attention to what he was doing. Oh, didn't mean to do that. And obviously I got some small bit of it right because the rail car moved initially. And I know I've missed a step here. I absolutely positively have missed a step. Move that there. Basically, the hoppers are to feed the furnaces. So let's try this again. Let's tear this all down. And start off. Nice level playing field. And a row of furnaces. All right. On the back side of these, we had hoppers. And these backside hoppers filled the furnaces with coal. Then we had front side hoppers, or top side hoppers. Oops, wrong thing. That is not a that is not a hopper. Then I believe we had rails on top. Yeah. This is where we had our... Nope. Cut that out. Cut that out. Alright, maybe it was just the bottom one that did this? Don't really remember. Regardless, I'll see if I can find the link and provide it. Whether I get this working right or not, I at least want to give him credit for inspiring the idea. No. You stop that. Then backside had the redstone torches. And hopper cars. Hmm. Hey. I don't need that kind of lip out of you. Another lever there. I had 3 levers on this thing. And I'm not entirely sure how they worked. Please ignore my girlfriend upstairs potty training our new dog. Alright, let's see what happens if we add a little redstone into the mix here. Put the torch there. Put the lever on the side here. What the... There. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be making you go very fast. Or very far. What happens if we put the car there? Nothing. Well, in any case, the idea was you put a chest on top of these. Like that. Like that. I said like that. Alright. They don't want to work at all. Actually, I did just remember a new detail. Another detail, rather. It's not a new detail. If it was new, I'd be inventing this whole thing myself. Get out of my way. Put a chest up here. I do believe at both ends. And then the hopper on there. The hopper car on. And so like that. And like that. Actually, don't need that one. That. Yeah, let's just stick that in there. And basically, the idea is that this would send it back and forth, collecting crap. The lower rail would fill each one of the chests with, or each one of the furnace with coal, and the upper one would fill it with ore. Let's grab some ore. I think it may have actually been like that, so that it would extend out over the thing. Okay, let's try putting that there. Lever there. Well, kind of worked. Experiment, experiment, experiment. Probably have this way too long. Maybe it was an activator rail down at the end. I don't have a clue. Because I've never dealt with mine cars before. Never. What other kind of rails are there? Okay, detector rail. I don't know what a detector rail does, but powered rails should be what I need. I have no idea. You made it look so simple. At any rate, I guess I'll abandon this design. But you can always do a more simple auto smelter. Very basic, don't need anything particularly special. You take your furnace, take your hopper, and you take a chest. So you put the chest there, or rather furnace there. Again, put a hopper on the back, put a hopper on top. Box there. Now, I believe you just have to put a box there. And of course, a box up on top. Now, let's go get our ore. This disappeared. Fine, we'll create more. So clearly when the minecars moved, it did do something. Not everything we wanted, but something. And boom, furnace. Now hopefully what happens is that it drops it on into the box. It does not look to be that way. Alright. Feeder. Sheep a little bit. Put the box there. And a hopper pointing to it. And voila. Every time we get a new bar of iron, it gets fed into the chest. Now, what we can do, let me make a day again. Over here, let's find our iron chest. There it is. Instead of going directly in like that, what we can do instead is put a furnace there. Oops, wrong thing. Put a furnace there. Actually, not even that. Furnace there. We'll block that. Put a hopper right there. Our chest. And this way, if we keep the furnace fed with coal, which we could complicate it a little further by actually having a separate stream feed a stream of coal instead of into the chest, we could feed it into the furnace instead. But I'm not going to do that right now, not for this example. Let me grab some more coal. We'll just go ahead and load up the coal here. Come on over here. Feed in the iron. Watch as it moves on over. It hits the auto sorter. And our furnace is on. And that'll automatically smelt the iron and put it into the boxes. Ta-da! Instant iron ingot. And so, it's not super elegant or super fancy. It's kind of simple, but fundamentally, that's a good way to get iron bars without actually having to deal with going on and smelting it yourself. And it works. It's not super fancy, but it, like I said, works. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to test, and that is an ender chest. I've never actually been to the end, so I don't know how these things work. Really, no, I don't need two of those. But I'm kind of curious. Will an ender chest work over a dispenser? Let's find out. Okay, let's get some more copper or something. Now, the reason I'm curious about this is, of course I didn't use the ender chest. There. If you can put an ender chest over a hopper, and if this works, essentially what you can do is mine, and it'll automatically feed the furnace wherever you are. But it looks like it does not do it. Essentially, anything you put in an ender chest is accessible from any other ender chest, but it doesn't look like that is hopper compatible. I was hoping, because that would make mining terribly easy. You could automatically have your ore pop out into, say, your auto sorter or somewhere else. Let's double check just to be sure. Yeah, it is not dropping. It is not sorting. I wonder if it'll go directly with a dropper or a dispenser. That is a furnace. That is not what I want. That is what I want. Nope, I guess not. Anyway, it was worth a shot. But in the end, we do have the groundwork for a pretty damn good auto-sorting system. You can scale this up to be inside a building or underground, and it should work quite well no matter what your need is, whether it's for just a few items or a few hundred, as Minecraft does have. But I also want to do one more thing here. When you get to the end like this, you should be able to turn a corner and go off in another direction so that you, you know, can continue to work your work. Just in case, you know, you run out of space or something. Which is inevitable. So I'm actually screwing things up a little bit here because I'm an idiot. But I hope this video, nonetheless, helps people. Learn how to build auto sorters, and that it's actually useful. Now, I think I'm doing this right. I'm not absolutely sure. I know that it's possible to turn the whole system so it goes in a new direction. But I have not done that myself, so I'm learning this even as I speak. Again, we'll put our finished product box here. All right. Let me get everything I need back in place. Da, 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 da. Torches, computer. Yep, okay. Because I have forgotten just about everything I have done. Just to make sure. I want to get this on the same level. Alright. That should be the hopper. Okay, torch. Repeater. Comparator. And a hopper feeding you. There. There. Missing all the key spots. And then rinse and repeat. I'm only going to do one because that's all we really need to test this to make sure everything works. And let's figure out a new block to put in here. Actually, did I have one for redstone? I don't believe I did. Okay, yeah, let's go with redstone for this one, since I have an abundance of redstone on me. Good. All right. We'll go down a little bit further and pick some other random item. Please go away. I don't have enough time for your nonsense. What did I do with that sword? There it is. All right. Hey, wrong direction. Alright. Oh yeah, still need the extra hoppers. And we'll do one right out in the middle here. Let's pick a random item. How about this? Whatever you are. Green glazed terracotta. Perfect. First we fill in our filters again. Let's watch that to make sure it counts down to 41. Boom, 41. Here in the bottom chest. And we need to put our hoppers back. Give me one moment. I'll be right back, and then we'll test this. Alrighty. Sorry about that. Put our chest back up here. And we'll toss pretty much everything in here. The rotten flesh and iron ingots, I imagine, are going to end up in our overflow box. Toss those in. A lot of things here will probably end up in our overflow box, but we shouldn't see too much of anything except the I need to grab the terracotta again. terracotta should end up in this nice, unique spot. Here we see all of our items flowing down. We did end up with some of the filter blocks in here. I wonder if the filter blocks came out. Interesting. That might be because I left that all blank. Alright, let's find out. I didn't even put the filter blocks in, you know? So that might be the reason that happened. I may have to wait until it's all done. Filter blocks there. And filter blocks there. I have no idea if this is going to work or not because, well, I haven't experimented with just leaving an open filter like that. So we shall see. Levers together, coal together, buckets. All the chests, grab everything. The automatic furnace sort of smelter should work for any metal or even stone or to make stone. Alright, come back on over here. And let's try just the terracotta first. I don't know that I put that back in to its filter spot. I think I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. Alright, so it's filtering properly here. Let's see if it's filtering in this. Well, I guess you do need to fill in any of those filter hoppers to make sure that they just don't fill up with random crap. Or you can just take them away if you're not using them. At least I suspect as much. Alright, let's see what happens. Pretty much my expectation is that all of this should end up in the overflow box. Or at least a lot of it should. We got redstone flowing in there. We got the anvil. Got the obsidian, minecart. So, yeah. If you don't want a particular item, just, you can build out this entire system and then just remove the actual filter hopper to prevent it from actually being matched against something and filling up accidentally when you don't really want it to. And so you can continue to expand this, bend around corners, zigzag, do whatever you like. And this auto sorter system should serve you well. And if you like this video, if you really liked it, if it was helpful to you, give me a like. Maybe even subscribe to the channel. Let me know. And hey, like I said, I'll respond to any questions, and maybe I'll make a new video in the future and help out both me and you and everybody else you know. I enjoy exploring and experimenting with things. I just don't get much opportunity to do it. And while I'm kind of on a streaming hiatus right now, I wouldn't mind doing a video like this from time to time. So, let me know. Show me that you actually like this sort of content, and you appreciate this, and I'll do another one in the future. Maybe I'll even figure out that auto smelter, or super smelter as it was listed as. And this is just cranking away, happily. It's interesting to see how full this is, even as it's being refilled by the chest up here. And obviously this is a very scalable system. But like I said, I didn't design this. This has been being done by others for some time, and I was just curious about how to do it. I thought it was going to be very complex, but really the most complex thing, in my opinion, is the actual dropper over there. But it's all good. So, thank you for joining me. I thank you for your patience as I deal with issues and learn some things even as I'm showing you. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.